Good morning, spiritual companions. We are reading the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna, continuing chapter 8, God-Intoxicated State, on page 344. A little later, the master went to the Kali temple. He looked at the image, took some sacred flowers from the feet of the mother, and placed them on his head. He prostrated himself before the mother and went round the image. He waved the chamara. He appeared ecstatic with divine fervor. Coming out, he found Ishan performing ritualistic worship. Master to Ishan, "What, are you still here? Are you still engaged in rituals? Listen to a song. Why should I go to Gaya, to Ganja, to Kasi, Kanchi, or Prabhas, so long as I can breathe my last with Kali's name upon my lips? What need of worship has a man, what need of rituals any more, if he repeats his mother's name during the 3 holy hours? Rituals may pursue him close, but they can never overtake him. Charity, vows, and giving of gifts have no appeal for Madan's mind. The blissful mother's lotus feet are his prayer and sacrifice." How long must a man continue formal worship? As long as he has not developed love for God's lotus feet, as long as he does not shed tears and his hair does not stand on end when he repeats God's name. When the fruit grows, the flower drops off. When one has developed love of God and has beheld him, then one gives up rights. You cannot achieve anything by moving at such a slow pace. You need stern renunciation. Can you achieve anything by counting 15 months as a year? You seem to have no strength, no grit. You are as mushy as flattened rice soaked in milk. Be up and doing. Gird your loins. I don't like that song. Brother, joyfully cling to God. So striving, someday you may attain him. I don't care for the line, so striving, someday you may attain him. You need renunciation. I say the same thing to Hazra. You ask me why you don't feel renunciation. There is a reason for it. You have desires and hidden tendencies within you. The same is true of Hazra. In our part of the country, I have seen peasants bringing water into their paddy fields. The fields have low ridges on all sides to prevent the water from leaking out, but these are made of mud and often have holes here and there. The peasants work themselves to death to bring the water, which, however, leaks out through the holes. Desires are the holes. You practice japa and austerities, no doubt, but they all leak out through the holes of your desires. If there are no desires, the mind naturally looks up toward God. Do you know what it is like? It is like the needles of a balance. On account of the weight of woman and gold, the 2 needles are not in line. It is woman and gold that make a man stray from the path of yoga. Haven't you noticed the flame of a candle? The slightest wind makes it waver. The state of yoga is like the steady flame in a windless place. The mind is dispersed. Part of it has gone to Dhaka, part to Delhi, another part to Kuch Bahar. That mind is to be gathered in. It must be concentrated on one object. If you want 16 annas worth of cloth, then you have to pay the merchant the full 16 annas. Yoga is not possible if there is the slightest obstacle. If there is a tiny break in the telegraph wire, then the news cannot be transmitted. You are no doubt in the world. What of that? You must surrender the fruit of your action to God. You must not seek any result for yourself. But remember one thing. The desire for bhakti cannot be called a desire. You may desire bhakti and pray for it. Practice the tamas of bhakti and force your demand upon the Divine Mother. God is your own mother. Is she a stepmother? Is it an artificial relationship? If you cannot force your demand on her, then on whom can you force it? Say to her, Mother, am I thine 8 months' child? Thy red eyes cannot frighten me. God is your own mother. Enforce your demand. If you are part of a thing, you feel its attraction. Because of the element of the Divine Mother in me, I feel attraction to her. Nowadays, you don't have to attend to worldly duties. Spend a few days thinking of God. You have seen that there is nothing to the world. The Master sang, Remember this, O mind, nobody is your own. Vain is your wandering in this world. Trapped in the subtle snare of Maya as you are, do not forget your mother's name. Only a day or two men honor you on earth. As Lord and Master, all too soon this form, so honored now, must needs be cast away when Master Death takes hold of you. Even your beloved wife, for whom, while you yet live, you fret yourself continually, cannot go with you then. She too will say farewell and shun your corpse as an evil thing. Continuing, the Master said, What are these things you busy yourself with, this arbitration and leadership? I hear that you settle people's quarrels and that they make you the arbiter. You have been doing this kind of work for a long time. Let those who care for such things do them. Now, devote your mind and more to God's lotus feet. Sambhu too said, I shall build hospitals and dispensaries. He was a devotee of God, so I said to him, Will you ask God for hospitals and dispensaries when you see him? Keshab Sen said to me, Why do I not see God? I said, You do not see God because you busy yourself with such things as name and fame and scholarship. The mother does not come to the child as long as it sucks its toy, a red toy, but when, after a few minutes, it throws the toy away and cries, then the mother takes down the rice pot from the hearth and comes running to the child. You are engaged in arbitration. The Divine Mother says to herself, My child is now busy arbitrating and is very happy. Let him be. In the meantime, Ishan had been holding Sri Ramakrishna's feet. He said humbly, It is not my will that I should do these things. Master, I know it. This is the Divine Mother's play, her Leela. It is the will of the great enchantress that many should remain entangled in the world. Do you know what it is like? How many are the boats, O mind, that float on the ocean of this world? How many are those that sink? Again, out of 100,000 kites, at best, but 1 or 2 break free. And thou dost laugh and clap thy hands, O Mother, watching them. Only 1 or 2 in 100,000 get liberation. The rest are entangled through the will of the Divine Mother. Haven't you seen the game of hide and seek? It is the granny's will that the game should continue. If all touch her and are released, then the playing comes to a stop. Therefore, it is not her will that all should touch her. I prayed to the Divine Mother, "O Mother, I don't want name and fame. I don't want the 8 occult powers. I don't want 100 occult powers. O Mother, I have no desire for creature comforts. Please, Mother, grant me the boon that I may have pure love for thy lotus feet." The devotees listened spellbound to Sri Ramakrishna. His burning words entered their souls, spurring them along the path of renunciation. Now he spoke to Ishan in a serious voice. "Master, don't forget yourself because of what you hear from your flatterers. Flatterers gather around a worldly man. Vultures gather around the carcass of a cow. Worldly people have no stuff in them. Flatterers come to them and say, 'You are so charitable and wise. You are so pious.' These are not mere words, but pointed bamboos thrust at them. How foolish it is to be surrounded day and night by a bunch of worldly Brahmin pundits and hear their flattery. Worldly men are slaves of 3 things. They are slaves of their wives, slaves of their money, slaves of their masters. Can they have any inner stuff? Arbitration and leadership? How trifling these are. Charity and doing good to others? You have had enough of these. Those who are to devote themselves to such things belong to a different class. Now the time is ripe for you to devote your mind to God's lotus feet. If you realize God, you will get everything else. First God, then charity, doing good to others, doing good to the world, and redeeming people. Why need you worry about these things? That's the trouble with you. It will be very good if a world-renouncing sannyasi gives you some spiritual instruction. The advice of the worldly man will not be right, be he a Brahmin, pundit, or anyone else. Be mad with the love of God. Let people know that Ishan has gone mad and cannot perform worldly duties anymore. Then people will no longer come to you for leadership and arbitration. Throw aside these articles of worship and justify your name of Ishan, which is an epithet of the all-renouncing Shiva. Ishan quoted, "Mother, make me mad with thy love. What need have I of knowledge or reason?" Master, mad, that's the thing. Shivananda once said that one loses one's head by thinking too much of God. What, said I? Can anyone ever become unconscious by thinking of consciousness? God is of the nature of eternity, purity, and consciousness. Through his consciousness, one becomes conscious of everything. Through his intelligence, the whole world appears intelligent. Ishan was seated, touching Sri Ramakrishna's feet and listening to his words. Now and then he cast a glance at the basalt image of Kali in the shrine. In the light of the lamp, she appeared to be smiling. It was as if the living deity, manifesting herself through the image, was delighted to hear the Master's words, holy as the words of the Vedas. Ishan, pointing to the image, those words from your sacred lips have really come from there. Master, I am the machine and she is the operator. I move as she moves me. I speak as she speaks through me. In the Kaliyuga, one does not hear God's voice, it is said, except through the mouth of a child, or a madman, or some such person. The master rose. He mounted the platform in front of the shrine and saluted the mother, touching the ground with his forehead. The devotees quickly gathered around him and fell at his feet. They all begged his grace. End of that day. End of today's reading.